Hello everyone, my name is Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, and welcome to the channel. Have you ever wanted to one-shot behemoths outside of an escalation? Well, that is almost what I have for you today. We'll be covering a build that I've prepared for you guys that is basically a variation of what was happening in the Embermain trials of last week. The weapon of choice here being the Pangar Axe with Relentless Onslaught and Railsplitters canteen. Relentless Onslaught had generally been overlooked until this point, as repeatedly throwing an axe wasn't quite effective for the damage per second for the weapon. However, burst damage in Dauntless is becoming a lot more relevant due to Slayers getting generally more powerful. Burst damage can also thank the Granny's Heartbreaker tonic for being a lot more relevant as well. The Relentless Onslaught special from Axe can provide you some of the highest burst damage potential in the game, as you instantly have access to attacks with 500, 600, and 1000 base damage. Mix that with the Pangar unique effect giving you access to 4500 base damage very quickly as well, and now we have some very high burst damage. So let's get into the build, then I'll tell you what you can do with it. So we've got the Pangar Axe with Tenacious inside. Your defense slot doesn't exactly matter for this. The Thrax helmet with Zeal inside, Thrax chest with Predator, Torgadoro gloves with Overpower, Thrax feet with Predator, and Drask lantern with Catalyst. Our consumables are going to be Granny's Heartbreaker, Frenzy tonic, and Inspiring pylon. So our important perks to the build are 6 Catalyst, 6 Cunning, 6 Overpower, 6 Predator, 3 Tenacious, and 3 Zeal. If we had a technique slot on the axe, the build would be even better, as we could have 6 Zeal for even more burst damage, but we can't do it because of the power slot. With Railsplitters canteen, we have a 62.5% chance to crit and 2.325 times more damage on critical strikes. And we will have plus 178% damage to our Pangar unique effect in an overpower state. With these combined, it's possible to kill some behemoths in only 2 or 3 hits from your weapon thanks to the Pangar unique effect. I'll break this down into a few steps for you guys if you're looking to try this out for yourself. Step 1. Once you're close to the behemoth, throw your axe at a wall and drink your tonics, then pick up your axe. Step 2. Wait a little bit until you are able to throw your axe again. Step 3. Enter the behemoth's fighting area and place your pylon when you know you will have a free hit on their head. Step 4. Activate your Drask lantern tap and throw your axe at the behemoth's head. On most behemoths, if you get a critical strike, this should stagger them with just the one throw. Step 5. You'll have to catch your axe and throw it at the head again. Try your best to get back in the pylon before your throw. This second throw should detonate your Pangar unique effect. Depending on the number of times you've crit, some behemoths may die upon the explosion, but if it doesn't, catch your axe and go for a third throw, which will deal an extra few thousand damage. This will not work on all behemoths, as they do not have similar HP values. This chain of hits can deal somewhere in the neighborhood of 40,000 to 50,000 damage, climbing up somewhere around 55,000 if you have the elemental advantage on the behemoth, and your relative power rating versus the behemoth is a very important factor for determining how much damage this can deal to it. And of course, if the behemoth has more HP, the less possible killing it in 2 or 3 hits becomes. I have been working on getting many of the HP values of the behemoths in the game on the side, as it is kind of intensive and will make for a long video, but for the purpose of this video, I'll give you guys a rough idea of what behemoths you should be able to kill in only 2 or 3 hits. So to lay it out for you, you should be able to defeat these behemoths in only 2 or 3 hits. All of the lesser behemoths, all elemental behemoths with unlikely ones being Scrave, Pangar, Stormclaw, Skarn, and Quillshot for reasons we will discuss shortly. The dire variants of Shrike, Gnasher, Embermain, Charog, Nezaga, Karabak, and Riftstalker, with dire Boreas being a maybe. And for heroic behemoths, the only one I can 100% confirm is Embermain, and I can almost say heroic Nezaga as well if you get absolutely perfect RNG. I had a heroic Nezaga with all hits but the second throw critting, where it died on my first swing after the throws. I'm not 100% sure about heroic Nezaga's HP value at this time, but I would guess it's around 52 or 53,000. I will have a more accurate number for you guys in the future. Other likely heroic behemoths would be Gnasher, which I'm pretty confident has around 48,000 HP. Karabak, I don't have an exact value, but I would guess around 45 to 50,000 HP. And Riftstalker, whose HP I would estimate to be around 47 to 49,000 HP if it has a similar upscaling to Stormclaw, who I have a very rough value for the heroic version of. But the behemoths this would be unlikely on is Scrave and Pangar variants, as the elemental versions have around 40,000 HP, and having the same element making your weapon do less damage is a big factor. Skarn and Quillshot are are unlikely, as they have multiple head parts that will make it difficult to get stagger damage or explode the Pangar ball, and Stormclaw, because it appears as though there's a stagger damage issue with it at the moment, which will make it so you are unable to stagger it with your first throw. It's possible there would be a 3-hit solution if you hit a leg with the second throw, but that's just another hit that would be outside of an overpower state. If it didn't have this stagger damage issue, it would be very likely to get a 2 or 3 hit kill all the way up to the heroic level. But you guys should definitely try this build out for yourselves and see what you can do with it. If you enjoyed this thick damage axe build, consider liking the video. And if you enjoy Dauntless content, consider subscribing to the channel where I post Dauntless content every week. I've been Trevor, I go by TheMrTrails, and I will catch you guys next time.